Fantastic. So we are live and officially recording on YouTube. I'm just going to say a couple of things and then post this link to the event page. So if you're watching this on YouTube, feel free to fast forward a couple minutes because it'll probably take us about that long to pull this together.
Yes.
All right. Good. I'm glad this is working. Guys, just so you know, we are live, so this is recording and will go on YouTube. If you don't mind muting your mics real quick and opening up your chat window so we can coordinate and get moving, that would be great. Okay, I'm just going to go update the event page.
Hey, Candace.
Yeah, hey, Jack. So this link, oh, shoot, is that going to...
We're live.
Great, yes, we are live. Fantastic. If you don't mind, I created a new event page, and I'm going to send you that link in a chat window right now. It's showing up on our page. This is good. Okay. Yep, right here.
Perfect. All right.
And I want to make sure that's up on the old event page. I'm also going to tweet it. Sorry.
I can take care of that.
Great.
All right.
Okay, well, we're a little bit late this morning, but everyone who tunes in will start at the beginning, so we might as well get moving. Again, my name is Candace Faber. I want to welcome everyone who's watching now, as those who will be watching in a few moments, to the fourth of our 5 sessions this year for Impact on Air. The goal of this project is to discover, highlight, and connect social entrepreneurs from across the Impact Hub network. We're very excited today to feature 3 companies around the world that are doing precisely the kind of work that we think of as social entrepreneurs, efforts that make the world a better place while also creating viable business models. Today we're going to hear from 3 innovative companies. The first is Green Vision, based in Vienna, Austria. I'll have them wave if you can see them. This is Christina, Slavi, and Stanislav. They'll be presenting first today. They've developed a tablet computer for the blind and visually impaired. Next, we'll be hearing from Degreed in Salt Lake City. Hi, Kat. An online platform for displaying alternative education. And finally, we'll have Open Label, Scott Kennedy from Amsterdam. And we're really excited to see him as well. Today, we are having a few technical issues, but we do have one expert who's managed to log on. Ruby Love is a former nonprofit executive and an advisor to startups in actually all 3 of these spaces, education, career opportunity, and retail. So we're very excited to hear from all of them today. I'm going to go ahead and ask if the team in Vienna is ready to start with Green Vision. Are you guys ready to go?
Yes, we're ready.
Fantastic. All right. Well, one final reminder, just very quickly. We are hopeful that all of our viewing parties will be able to join us today. We're expecting to see people from Barcelona, Berlin, Boulder, Dubai, Rotterdam, Seattle, Salt Lake City, Westminster, and probably a couple others that I've forgotten. So if you are joining us, we're very excited to have you. Hopefully you found the new event page. Feel free to send us questions there or via Twitter at any time throughout the call. So without any further delay, I'm going to turn it over to the team from Green Vision. Go ahead, you guys.
Hi, everybody, and greetings from Impact Hub Vienna. My name is Christina, and here next to me is Slavi and Stanislav. And we three are co-founders of Green Vision, the first tablet worldwide for blind and visually impaired people. As an experienced supply chain expert, I'm mainly responsible for the strategic development of our device. Slavi, with his strong experience in IT and innovations, he's mainly responsible for our software development and hardware assembly. And Stanislav is our ambitious product designer who is involved in the product development in prototyping phase. Now let me ask you a very quick question. Can you imagine that every 5 seconds someone in this world goes blind? Every minute a child goes blind. A year ago, when I was a last year student at the Technical University of Sofia, a colleague of mine sitting next to me asked me to sign him online for the innovation management course. I did it, but after that I realized that he was blind. For the first time, we realized that something which is given to us, sighted people, turns to be a big challenge for others. But they couldn't give up this technology. Because,
hey, Christina.
yes.
This is Candace. We are certainly experiencing what one might experience if we were blind right now. We're not able to see your presentation. So if you have a chance to check on that, we'd just love to make sure we can see any slides that you're showing.
Okay.
Is it fine now?
No, I'm still seeing just a black screen.
Okay, we'll check.
We'll figure this out.
Yes.
It's a game of how many tech-savvy social entrepreneurs does it take to
Yes.
hang out. So if it doesn't work, it would be great. If you don't mind, we'll just have you turn the screen share off so that we can at least see you guys. That would be great.
Let us try one more time and see if it works.
A second.
So. It happens from time to time to have problems with the.
Sure. All right, guys. Well, I know. I'm sorry. We're going to be all over the place this morning. We'll come back to you if that's all right. Just give you to give you some time to see if we can sort this out. Okay. So feel free. I'm going to have you guys minimized. You're welcome to kind of practice this screen share a little bit while we keep going. Kat, can we move over to you and learn about Degreed while we're sorting this out?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Great. Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. So I'm Kat. I'm head of product at Degreed, and I'm excited to be presenting on behalf of my team and grateful to Impact Hub for the opportunity to present. So can you guys see me okay? Are we good? Just want to make sure. Okay. So the problem that Degreed solves is simple, powerful, and universal in its implications. And it revolves around one question. And that question is this. Tell me about your education. Can you see it? All right. And it revolves around one question. Tell me about your education. We have asked thousands of people this question, and inevitably they answer in relation to their college degree. This is true of college dropouts, recent graduates, and those that haven't been to school in 30 years. We will skip decades of our lives and answer in relation to our college degree. But college is no longer the only way to gain an education. The internet has brought about a learning explosion. And increasingly, we learn from a diversity of sources throughout the entirety of our lives, but we don't yet have a way to communicate an entire life worth of learning. Right now, the degree is the only way to show off your education. The problem is, degrees suck. Degrees suck because they don't even come close to representing the totality of our learning. Life is learning, but so much of it goes unrecognized. Tell me, how much of your education is represented by your degree? The solution is to jailbreak the degree. And what we mean by that is to unbundle it, to unpack it, and create a more modular system made up of micro-credentials where you can represent everything that you learn. Mr. Einstein got it. He knew that we never stop learning. From the books that we read to the courses that we take, we live in a world full of education. Degree measures that education. Now college is just one small piece instead of the end of our learning. We've created a web app that makes it incredibly simple to document and discover learning. Once you're connected, you can measure and categorize everything that you are learning. So I'm going to show you my profile. As you can see, my degree from Utah State is represented. But you'll also see the books that I've read, the courses I've completed, and the articles that I've read. And this is just around one topic, and that's philosophy, because I was playing with this earlier. So as we head over to my Insights tab, you can see me as a learner categorized. You'll see that I've done most of my learning this month in product management, and yet my degree was in information systems. So this learning has happened since I've been in college 10 years ago, and now I have a way to represent that. We have the world's largest database of academic, lifelong, and professional credentials. We support every course in America, all 4.5 million, every university, undergrad and graduate, and over 13,000 universities worldwide. And as you saw in my profile, we also support the lifelong learning you do, like the books that you read, the courses that you're taking online from places like Coursera, Udemy, and Skillshare, and the Mozilla badges you've earned, the articles that you read on a daily basis. Hopefully you get the point. We're learning every day, and now we have a way to show it off. So degree leaves nothing behind. We capture all of your education credentials, and that is a currency that can help us unlock the dreams in our lives and the opportunities in our careers. Facebook brought you the social graph, LinkedIn the professional graph, and now Degreed brings you the knowledge graph. We measure the world's learning, all of it. We are jailbreaking the degree.
Wow. Thank you so much, Kat. That was totally worth the wait. I'm sure I'm not the only person viewing who's pretty excited to see this and to see it progress. I am going to turn it over to Ruby in a couple minutes for any questions that she might have for you. But I was wondering if you might start by sharing with us and our viewers, who we now see have managed to tune in, which is great, where you're at in this process, how people can use Degreed right now, what they need to do to sign up, any of that kind of more nuts and bolts of how it's working right now.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. So the site is actually live right now and open to anyone that wants to go and sign up. So it's easy to create a profile. You can sign up with email or use Facebook Connect. And it's incredibly simple to add the things that you're learning. So you can add your degree, you can add the courses, and I'd love to show you how to sign up, but basically all you have to do is go to degreed.com and there you go. So the consumer side is completely open and ready for public use. We have a ton of integrations, so we'll integrate with, if you take courses from Khan Academy or Coursera or Treehouse or Code School, all you have to do is connect your account, and as you take courses, those show up. We also have integrations with Goodreads, so as you're reading books, they just show up on your profile. And if anyone else is a Pocket fan like I am, it tracks the articles that you're reading on a daily basis. So Degreed's up and running, and we're pretty far along in the process. We've been at this for about 3 years, and yeah, so we're really proud of the product that we have so far, but obviously it's going to become a lot better the more that we go on.
Great. Well, thank you so much for sharing that information. Ruby, I'm going to turn it over to you. I know education is obviously something that's been really important for your background, working in STEM and now with social entrepreneurs. Do you have any questions for Kat and Degreed?
I do. Kat, I'm really impressed. I've got a lot of questions. We probably won't be able to get to all of them today. The first question I have for you is, how are you validating the information that people are sharing that rolls up onto their profile?
Yeah, for sure. So that's obviously a huge problem that we need to solve, right? So for your college degree, we do degree validation. So you send us your transcript and we go through a process on our side to verify that college education. On the informal education side, we're looking to partner with people. There's a company called Smarter, and they do courses, like they do online assessments. So we actually have a call with them in the coming weeks to look over what an integration with them would look like, so that as you're taking things like courses and reading books, you can then assess that learning and see, like, did this book that I read last week actually help me learn more about business? And then you can go take a Smarter quiz and see, did my score get higher? So we won't do assessments within Degreed, but we will partner with those that are going to do it better than we could if we built it on our own.
Right. Another question I have for you is, because actually I've worked with a startup doing similar work as what you're doing, and that is our learning context is very, very Western. Are you thinking at all about being able to support people who don't necessarily have a learning context that's Western, so that Degreed actually does have global impact?
Yes, we do. So I personally have internationalization and localization experience. So being able to make Degreed a site that is not only useful in America but worldwide is very important to me. And having the experience that I do, I know what it takes to be localization. And it's not just changing the language that your site is in, right? People in Brazil learn differently than people in Utah. And so we are very aware of that, and we're taking steps, maybe not immediately, but we are planning for those steps in the very near future.
Great. And then my final question is I'd like to know, and maybe other people on your team are there, who are the entrepreneurs, as you were developing this product, that you most admired and looked to as mentors?
Yeah, so I'm actually the only one. Our CEO is here at the Impact Hub, our CEO is on a plane from San Francisco to Salt Lake. He's based out of San Francisco, but people that we really admire, we were lucky to be part of Techstars last summer. And so working with the entire Techstars community, I can't name one of the many mentors that we were introduced to, but so many that they were just incredibly, like, all were so impactful in building Degreed. And Eric Reese with his work with Lean Startup, like, that's my Bible. So how about Eric Reese for a name?
Excellent.
Great.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Kat. That was totally worth the wait and all the technical difficulties to learn more about Degreed. We're really excited. For those of you who don't know, Salt Lake City is an amazing impact hub. They've been hosting viewing parties for this whole series, and I believe they're on today as well. It's really exciting for me as a member, and I think for all of us, to see companies that are succeeding and really integrating the logic and philosophy of social entrepreneurship into everything else that's happening in the startup community, whether that's Techstars or other accelerator programs. So big congratulations to you. Really excited to learn more about your product and to track your progress and support you however we can. So thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. So I'm excited now to move to another really incredibly innovative product coming from Impact Hub in Vienna. This is Christina, along with Slavi and Stanislav, who we started talking to before and had some issues with the screen share. So I'm going to go ahead and scoot over to them. We'll start by looking at just the presentation while we've got the screen share working, and then we've got a few questions to go to after that. All right, thank you. Go ahead, guys. And you're muted, by the way, so.
Once again, Greetings from Impact Hub Vienna. I believe you hear me well now.
Yes, thank you.
I would like to ask you now, can you imagine that every 5 seconds someone in this world somewhere goes blind? Every 5 seconds someone in this world goes blind, but there is a child that goes blind every minute. A year ago, when I was a last year student at the Technical University of Sofia, a colleague of mine sitting next to me asked me to sign him online for the Innovation Management course. I did it, but after that I realized that he was blind. For the first time we realized that something which is given to us sighted people turns to be a big challenge for others. But they couldn't give up this technology because it could allow them to lead a grateful life. The IT sector appears to lack a solid comprehension of the unique strengths and challenges facing blind people. Assistive technology like braille note-takers, keyboards, talking books on CDs are poorly supported, they're expensive, and finally they're often developed in isolation from users, which leads to their inefficient use.
Now what if I told you that there is a device using innovative technology layer, hardware and software that allows blind people for the first time to go to the park, read their favorite ebook, chat with friends and navigate back to their home. Now let me introduce you the world's first tablet for blind people. Green Vision.
Hey, we'd love to see it. The slides aren't advancing, so you know. So we'd love to see your faces, or if you want to do a screen share to the site, that would be great.
Yeah, see our faces.
Wait just a second.
Yeah.
There, we see the slide now. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so Green Vision, do you see the slides now?
Yes, you'll just want to make sure to check that they're advancing. But we see the tablet prototype right now.
Okay,
Perfect.
great. So Green Vision is the next curved braille device for reading and writing. It's an electronic book which, instead of using a screen for displaying the text, uses small physical bubbles. They can rise and fall on demand, composing text in braille code.
And our market potential is huge as the number of people living in US today, and we believe that's huge.
So if I were a blind person, I would have to spend more than 10,000 euros or $10,000 for technologies in order to study efficiently, find better job, or have fun using internet.
Green Vision evolved. We have changed our design concept more than 4 times until we came up with our current solution. During the last months, we turned our project from Green Vision into a startup company. So from now on, we are BlightUp Technology.
Before reaching this step, we faced many difficulties. When we started with the project, it was really tough for us to imagine how everything will look and work together. After a solid research and endless brainstorm sessions, we got to our first concept of design. It was rough, bulky, and after talking with blind people, we discovered that we had to change our perception and approach of the design totally. We had to learn how to think like our visually impaired users and how they will actually use it. As I was mainly responsible for the design concept, I had to get through different stages like understanding how blind people deal with the real-life environment and integrate those aspects in a design that haven't been created since now.
Hey guys, once again the slides aren't advancing, so it would be great actually if we can just sort of watch you as you're talking. That would be great.
Yeah. Yeah. And up to now we have been awarded by many organizations in Austria, and we also need many support in different areas like consulting, financial support, and also strong institutions behind us. So altogether we are a BlightUp team, and we strive to improve the independence and social well-being of blind people worldwide, and at home, at school, at work.
Thank you.
great. Thank you so much, you guys, and thanks for to you and to viewers and everyone for sticking with us through the technical difficulties. It's very much worth it to sort through all of that to learn more about what you're doing. It's clearly such an important need for making sure that, you know, with everything that we talk about, not leaving people behind, not creating a digital divide that simply exacerbates some of the social injustices that are out there. You guys are really working to create something that opens up opportunities for the blind and visually impaired. So we're really excited about that and excited about you and what you're doing. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit more about your vision and potentially, before I turn it over to Ruby, just any interactions that you've had with organizations that work to empower the blind and visually impaired, whether that's in Austria or in Europe more broadly or globally. I think it would be really interesting to hear more about your research, both for the product development and the business, if you don't mind sharing.
Of course. Actually, our idea started, as we mentioned, 2 years ago. So we started from scratch, and we first, because we are coming originally from Bulgaria, it's a small city, a small country next to Black Sea, and there actually we had the first contact with blind people and organizations supporting blind people. After that, when we moved here, we realized that the infrastructure at itself here in Vienna is more advanced, and we had the chance to have partnerships with blind organizations. So now we have partnership with one of the best, one of the, let's say, the biggest organizations here in Austria supporting blind people. And because now we're in a prototyping phase now, they will test and develop further with us the product. And this is very valuable for us because we would like to know exactly what they need and how we can to design the product.
Great, thank you so much. Ruby, I'm going to turn it over to you. Would love to hear any questions that you have for the Green Vision team. And once again, for anyone who's viewing, because we've got a little bit of a delay here, I think we'll come back to our viewer questions at the end. So we'll just keep moving through the presentations. But if you have questions for the Green Vision team, please go ahead and submit them at any time. All right, Ruby, it's your turn.
Christina, Slavi, and Stanislav, your product development is absolutely amazing, and you're to be commended for really looking at developing a tool that is inclusive of a population that is almost always left behind. So I just want to say that at the very beginning, at the outset. I'm curious, as you've been working with the organization there that is serving the blind population, have they talked at all with you about, is it going to be better for you to design a product that goes into the hands of individuals, or is it better to design a product that can be used in places where learning takes place for the blind?
Okay, thank you for the question. So it's really great question. From the very beginning, even from our, let's say, marketing or selling position, we thought that we will directly sell, for example, when we produce the device directly to the blind people. But what happened after that? When a lot of big organizations like banks, like museums, like also even though touristic ships over the Danube approached us and said, we would like to buy or we would like to place such devices in our ships, in our banks, offices, and we want to make our offices accessible for blind people because we have employees which have some visual impairments, and we would like to make them feel comfortable to read better and to learn better. This was the other point, because our device is based on Braille, and it's the first device which will have more than one line, which is very important. More than one line of Braille code. So we'll achieve a full page of Braille, and people, for the first time again, will be able to read the whole page without any difficulties. So which of course improves their learning process and make it faster.
That's excellent, and good that you actually are listening to the user community so that the design actually fits the user community as opposed to the design fitting the designer's desire. Another question I have for you is, where are you in terms of the process of developing prototype and getting to essentially manufacturers? So have you started talking with any potential manufacturers, and how is that going for you as a startup?
Thank you again also for this question. Now we are in the beginning of our prototyping phase, as we will produce a whole device, a whole unit, that means hardware and software. Now we start with the hardware one. And as we mentioned, we will use a very innovative technology. Now we are in a patent procedure. We are looking for a partner that will assemble our product. We have some offers, but we are also open for any partnerships, let's say. After that, we will develop our software. Now we have the concept, we have the vision, because as I mentioned, Stanislav and Slavia are also experienced in this area, and yeah, we'll develop it till next year so that we can start with a better prototype and after that go to the market.
Excellent. And I have one more question for you, and that centers around, you know, who are the mentors that are working with you, and are you looking for other essentially mentors from around the world, because essentially what you're doing is you're serving a population that's global. The blind population is everywhere in the world. So are you looking for mentors or expertise from other parts of the world, and how are you accessing that?
Thanks. It's really straightforward and great questions, I would say. And we of course have, just from experience, we have the answers. So we are working here with experts in different area locally in Austria. But as you said, our potential or our project is definitely for global exposure, and we have to share with the whole world, let's say. So in this direction, we are open again to any kind of mentors. But as a startup, we do not want to, let's say, distract too much with something that will not be efficient. We want to make our working now on the prototype, and really to have something that is at least you can touch it, feel it, and the blind people can give their feedback. So what we want from mentors is really working with us, not only, you know, sharing some ideas and all of these stuffs which are more or less already done, but getting some real experience from people who are in this area and helping us, but like really working on the project. That's what we're now searching for, let's say.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, you guys. It's really another exciting innovation. I think there's so many products that people are working on at Impact Hubs around the world, but there's something really exciting and tangible about seeing something that you can actually feel and hold in your hands, which is, of course, even more important if you're blind or visually impaired. So I'm really excited to hear from you guys and hope you'll get some great feedback from our viewers. We are just about to move to Scott Kennedy to talk about the open label. And again, I want to remind everyone, we named this session Innovators in Social Justice and Opportunity because the presenters were so extraordinary, and we thought that they made sense in one single category, basically dedicated to making the world a better place. Right now, we've already heard from a company that works to help people with non-traditional education backgrounds, as well as those who have degrees, to better communicate their education and lifelong learning. And we really believe and hope that that will open doors for people maybe who don't have the means to get a traditional education, to prove to employers what they can do. You know, we've heard from Green Vision, which is developing a product that likewise opens opportunities in the modern, very electronically driven workplace for people that they might have been close to before because of blindness or visual impairment. And now we're going to shift a little bit to something that isn't quite so much directed in the same way, but still working to empower individual people, in this case consumers, to create a better world. And in doing so, empowering companies to make better decisions and prove to their shareholders the value of the social work that they do. So we're very excited to hear from Open Label, and again, hope that if you're tuning in from a viewing party or anywhere around the world, that you won't hesitate to send us questions, either through comments on the event page or through Twitter. For now, I'm going to turn it over to Scott Kennedy, who came to us from Amsterdam but is joining us today, I believe, from San Francisco. Good morning, Scott. And Scott, we need your mic. There we go.
How's that?
Good. Well,
oops.
We both can't touch it at once. Okay, now you're good. Go ahead.
Hi. Thanks a lot, Candace, for having me. And yeah, I'm a huge Impact Hub fan, and I may be the only one who has been at 4 Impact Hubs in the last 4 months. I was at the San Francisco Hub, then I went up to the Seattle Impact Hub for a couple of weeks. Spent about 3 months at the Amsterdam Impact Hub, and then I was down in Australia at their hub. And right now I'm in Maine, which is beautiful. So I'm back in the States, and I'll be back in San Francisco in a week. So I'm coming to you from the forest. But obviously, huge fan of Impact Hub, and I love and get inspired by hearing what everyone's doing. It's just incredible. So thanks a lot for having me. Open Label is, the idea is pretty simple. The implementation, turns out, is not so simple, so we've been working on it for over 2 years now. But the idea is that we spend billions of dollars each year buying all kinds of products like food and shampoo and clothes and toys, but we really don't know anything about what we're buying. We don't know where it's from, or what the company does with the profits, or how they treat workers. And we also don't know what our friends might think about it, or if some organization has anything to say about it. This data is all out there, so there are tons of websites and blogs and mobile apps and news articles, but the information is sort of buried across all of these. And all of these sources are growing very much in popularity, so that's great. People are really starting to wake up a bit, and they're starting to demand to know more about the things that they buy, because they recognize that this has a huge impact. But we now really need a super easy, centralized place where all this data can instantly be shared. So that's essentially why we created Open Label. It's a crowd-powered platform. It's a website and a mobile app where anybody can just instantly contribute their comment and their knowledge just by scanning a product with their mobile phone. So the way it works is that you grab a product like a soda or anything that's in front of you, and we've indexed like over 10 million products now, and you just scan with your phone the little barcode and immediately attach a label, we call it a label, right on that product. So it's almost like sticking a Post-it note on the product. And the next time anyone in the world scans that same product, they will see what you said about it along with all the others. And the community is able to vote up or vote down all of the various labels, and the users can choose to follow the people or the sources that they trust, and they can also filter everything based on their own interests. So that's essentially the platform. It's not so much about deals and coupons, and it wasn't developed by a brand or a marketing firm like a lot of these other ones. We are about transparency. We're about radical transparency. We want to let people help each other make smarter, more responsible decisions. And I think one of the reasons why we're such a good fit for Impact Hub is that we also want to help all of these amazing organizations with their missions. So maybe not so much the two that we heard from today, but there are a lot of people who have causes that are directly or indirectly related to buying or not buying various products. And we want to help them reach millions of consumers with that information right at that critical point when they need that information. Where we're at right now is we're in a private beta, but anybody watching right now can use my own invite code. So we have an invite code. And if you just want to poke around a little bit and let me know, I'm big on honest criticism, so the good and the bad and the ugly. We just ask that you not share this code too widely with the press because we're not launched yet. So I'll put that up on the screen later on. And right now, we could just go to the product and I'll show you how it works. The app should be in the store in a couple months, and I've got some screenshots of that. And the website is currently up and running. So here's the app. Let's see, I push screen here, screen share. We'd like to share the content of your shoe. Let's go ahead and just show the entire screen. Is that working?
I'll let you know, Scott. You want to, when you click screen share and then click the specific window that you want us to look at.
Oh, I see. It's just
so
window
we don't
by
get
window.
this echo effect. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Are you seeing all of this now?
I am seeing mobile.png and like 6 to 8, 7 different screenshots that from what looks like a mobile app.
Yeah, I don't know how much detail you can see, but the idea is that the app launches, we give you a tutorial, and then it goes right into this screen that shows you, sort of like Facebook, what everyone is posting. And you can look at the latest labels that are coming in, and it's organized by product and then by whatever the comment was. And you can look at the featured labels, you can look at your own personal news feed, which is going to be just the organizations and friends that you're following. So in a way, it's almost like a Facebook for product, a Twitter for products. A lot of people have called it a Yelp for products because Yelp obviously is a successful public company where that crowdsourcing allows for anyone to comment about any local business. So we're sort of doing that for products. And you would scan the barcode, any barcode, and then immediately a window would pop up giving you information about that product and would allow you to comment. And then you can attach your own label. And at the very end here, there's a profile that allows you to track who you're following and how many followers you have and how many labels you've created, how many scans and products you've created. So that's essentially that. And then, let's see, how do I share something else?
You can always turn it off and back on, Scott.
Okay. So now I'll share with you the website, and that is right here. Let me know if this works for you. This is the main website. It's theopenlabel.com, and let's see how we do this. We log in with Facebook, Twitter, or anything else. And once you're in, again, you see this same experience. You can read some of the labels and see some of the products that people are scanning and what they're saying about it. You can vote that up or vote it down if you think it's useful or if you think it's stupid. You can flag it if it's offensive to you. You can share it with other people on social networks. You can tweet it. You can add it to other products. And then everyone has their own complete profile here where they can track all the labels they've left. They can see all the various stars they've earned. And they can see all of their followers. So the idea is just to really create this community that allows for everyone to very easily comment about products. And one of the things we're doing now is we're hooking up to APIs and we're making deals with a lot of nonprofits to make sure that fair trade certification, for example, Greenpeace, some of the larger nonprofit organizations, Oxfam, are able to say what they want to say about a product, and it gets right to the user with a quick scan.
Yeah. Great.
So that's basically it. Yeah. And I'm happy to answer any questions anyone has.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Scott. It's really exciting not just to hear about your product, but to see it. I think we had a conversation about this before, but there are a lot of companies and organizations working in this space to basically help kind of trigger social change through more conscious consumption. And I, for one, am really excited to see that you've developed an app that's so beautiful and simple and user-centric. So huge congratulations on that. I'm already seeing that we're getting some feedback from other hubs around the world who are curious in figuring out how they can support you. I just have one note for you and our viewers, and then I'll kick it off with a question, and then ping it over to Ruby. The first thing on an invite code, just so you know, this video will be public, but anyone who's watching, please shoot us an email, and we'll connect you. We'll also send out any information that you want, Scott, to the hubs that are hosting viewing parties. So
Okay.
that should be really that should be great.
Okay.
I am curious, just because you brought up Yelp, which, as you know, this year turned a profit for the first time. So really curious to hear, if you don't mind sharing a little bit more about the business model, and how you see Open Label being sustainable over time.
Yeah, sure. Well, I mentioned earlier that we're building this using some of the best practices of several other very large platforms like Yelp and Twitter and Facebook, and adapting it to products. So in that sense, we can also borrow a lot of their proven revenue models, which is great. And I feel like it's even better than that because we're in the mobile commerce space very specifically. So we deal directly with products and brands, locations, and consumer sentiments. So there are a lot of places for us to generate revenue. We gather and analyze data about the products that people are scanning and where they're scanning it and how they feel about it and what organizations that they're following. All of this data is aggregated. We pull the names off of all of it, so it's all anonymous. And the primary revenue source in the beginning is going to be a monthly data subscription. And that's currently used by a lot of folks in the big data space. Basically, brands and retailers can buy a subscription to a dashboard that offers very detailed, anonymous, aggregated data and analytics on any product or brand or category. And the cool thing about selling anonymous data is that the nonprofit partners we work with actually really like that, because they like having the brands involved. When you share your thoughts on a blog or on Facebook somewhere, you don't know if that sentiment is reaching anyone who could potentially address your concerns. And by making this the central standard way to discuss products, your voice joins in with other voices, and you can actually have an impact. And it's sort of how like Change.org was able to gather petition signatures from many people, put them in a centralized place. The other revenue possibilities are Reddit, for example, sells a lot of sponsored posts. Tumblr calls it a highlighted post. But again, these are highly targeted opportunities to have sort of a clearly marked little message. You could have it in an alternative section when you scan something. You know, if you feel like hitting a tab, there could be an alternatives or something. And as long as we mark that as promoted, we don't have a problem with that. And then finally, we can even white label the app, offering private enterprise versions that gather data for other people. So we've looked at a lot of different models, and primarily our investors are less concerned about that, and they're more focused on us getting engagement and us getting a lot of users to start really contributing to this, to build it up in kind of a Wikipedia way.
Great. Great. Thank you so much for answering those questions, Scott.
Sure.
Ruby, I'm sure you have some awesome, very targeted questions for Scott and Open Label, so I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you, Scott. I don't know if I met you when you were in Seattle, but when you're back, I definitely want to talk with you.
Great.
Very, very interesting concept and product. A couple of questions that I have for you. Number one is that the data play of companies like yours generally tend to end up going to what I call the big box market retail space. I'm encouraged that you are talking about engagement of the nonprofit sector and the smaller marketplace. What's your intention of actually doing some direct marketing towards that small marketplace? So, you know, I'm thinking about how can they actually take advantage of the enormous amounts of data that you're going to end up generating.
The nonprofits?
Well, not just nonprofits, what I call the smaller market space, whether it's nonprofit or for-profit.
Yeah. Well, what's really cool about this is that, you know, we already have very early on, we only have about 100, you know, demo users on this that are playing with us. And very early on, a lot of people recognize that that there's so much information out there that people need to look towards someone to help them purchase a product. And so, for example, there's a mom we talked to who was very much involved in safety. So she was concerned about baby foods and strollers and all sorts of things like this, and couldn't find good data about it. So she ended up creating her own little boutique website where she goes through all these products and does all of this tremendous work, trying to compare and explain what's good and what's bad. And we want to leverage off of these millions of points of light of all these people who really care about a specific topic. There's a GMO labeling people. There's lead in toys. There are all these millions of little topics, and by allowing them to participate in our platform, when people are out there scanning, we can bring light to their site, and we can even link to their information. And so they might say a little, for example, True Goods is one that we're working with. She might say a little something about a product, and then we'll have a link to her store, and she might actually get money. It's another revenue source for us, potentially, to get an affiliate. But what we can do is we can bring business and bring attention to the smaller points of data, as well as the larger nonprofits. So we're able to weight this data.
Great. Scott, thank you so much.
Really?
Sorry. Ruby, I'll let you.
Are we out of time?
We're not necessarily out of time, though. People have been kind of, I think, waiting for a while for us to start, so I don't want to go too much longer. But I do want to take some questions from our viewers. We've got quite a few people who are excited, actually, about all three of your enterprises. Doesn't surprise me. I think this session and hearing from all of you guys has been totally worth the technical glitches. But Scott, just, we'll connect after this, but we've got a lot of people on Twitter who are curious about how they can support you, how they can download Open Label soon. One really good question here from Thomas Majors. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. He's curious how you integrate products that don't have labels. So, for example, a coffee at Starbucks or something that you might buy online. Would love to hear your answer to that.
Yeah, that's an incredible space, and we're sort of see ourselves moving into the Internet of Things. There's a lot of exciting technologies like Beacon in store. So I just joined a panel talking about some of those possibilities, which is measuring locations in stores and being able to provide information to people. There are RFID tags. There is a lot of image recognition that's going on. Google and Amazon are both doing a lot of that. So it's an exciting space, and there's definitely opportunity for people to be able to tell what it is you're commenting about. We can move outside of barcodes. We just felt like barcodes, there's already 500 billion products out there with barcodes. So that's sort of the low-hanging fruit that we're going to start with, because that's the easiest way for us to all know what we're talking about, is scanning that barcode. But absolutely very exciting to start moving into some of these image recognition or location or other chip embed technologies.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much for that answer. I'm sure, as with all three of you guys, I'm sure you're going to have a lot of interesting questions from people after this call as well. I actually have a question for Degreed that I want to pass along from someone, actually from our Actively Learn team, which participated in the very first Impact on Air on education. Steen would like to know, for Degreed, is the app for people who want to showcase their learning for a current employer or for future employers? And can Degreed export information to LinkedIn and similar platforms? Kat, I'd love to give you a chance to answer that.
Yeah, so right now, Degreed is for learners no matter what state they're at. So if you are in a current career, if you're looking for a job, or if you just want a way to keep track of everything that you're doing, Degreed is for learners no matter where you're at. Integration with LinkedIn, right now there's a spot on LinkedIn for your education. A lot of our users have just simply put the link to their profile integrated with LinkedIn. Obviously, on the technical side, we're working on integrations with LinkedIn so that you can capture your work experience and things to that degree so that you're not having to input in both places. So we are working on an integration, but for now, you can definitely put your profile link right there.
Great. Thank you so much. And yeah, Scott, just to pass that along to our folks who are asking on Twitter, Open Label is free. You don't need to purchase it to download and to start supporting in that way. I am going to, since we started a little bit late, we'll end a little bit late. I would really love to hear just some closing feedback from Ruby. You know, this has actually been a great session in spite of the challenges. And Ruby, I don't know if you are following this, but you're a little bit of the superstar on this call with your fantastic questions. So I would love to get your thoughts as we get ready to wrap up on kind of what's happening in this space and what we're seeing with entrepreneurs like Kat and Scott and Christina and her team in Vienna. And then I will turn it over to each of you entrepreneurs for just a closing, very short closing comment on how viewers and Impact Hub members around the world can help you. So Ruby, your turn.
Okay. Well, again, I just want to say that this space of social justice and innovation is so much bigger than what we tend to think of. And I think all of the three presenters today helped us to open up the possibilities of what can be created and what can be designed and really what's out there as far as public need. So I can't say enough about how innovative each one of these are and how as long as you stay on a path of focus, you are actually creating situations that are going to answer problems and create solutions to issues that are very prevalent in our world. So the idea of being boxed in around degrees and that there is so much more to our learning is what came forward in Degreed. I think that serving a population, those who are challenged with sight and blind issues, and being able to participate fully in our world has been obviously evident with the products that's coming out of Vienna. And then Scott, what you're doing with Open Label, it's just amazing. So I want all three of you to continue to stay focused. Use the resource of the hubs around the world. Scott, it was great how you talked about actually visiting the various hubs around the world. There are resources that you can all call on and experts that are in these locations. And so I just want to give all of you a thumbs up, and I'm here for you as well, and thanks so much for participating.
Yeah, I echo that. Scott, I'm going to let you make your closing remarks first, and then Kat will go to you, and then Christina and the team in Vienna.
Did you say me first? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you first, Scott.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to talk with these other people. It's one of the hardest things for me is I want to derive all of the tremendous benefits that the support of the Impact Hub allows, but at the same time, it's incredibly distracting because there's so many people doing so many great things, and of course, I'm eager to leap into all of them. So I definitely I love Envision because I think technology is perfectly suited to solve problems like this. This is almost exactly why technology exists in my mind, and so it's just a perfect application. And the other thing that I liked about Degreed was how I tend to notice that when you measure something in business, the reason why analytics are so big is when you measure something, you tend to increase it. And so simply by having a place to put all that information, I think really has potential to motivate people to kind of keep wanting to, it's almost like gamification. You keep wanting to read more things and get more degrees. So I love the motivational aspect of it. And then as far as everyone else participating, I just wanted to thank you all and let you know that if you want to help us, we'll be out publicly in a couple of months, but until then you can just go to the website, make sure that we have your email so that we can keep you posted when everything's ready. And then when it comes out, we just need everyone to share it. And specifically any nonprofits that you know of who have information about products, who rate products, who certify products, and they want to get that information out to more people, and they want to generate potentially more followers to their cause, definitely send them my way as well.
Great. Thank you, Scott. All right, Kat, any closing words from you, things that the Hub Network can do to support you?
Yeah, so first of all, just wanted to thank you guys for the opportunity to tell you about what Degrade is working on and the opportunity to present with these great companies, both Green Vision and Open Label. I love what you guys are doing, and it's just so fun to see what technology can do. As far as what the network can do for us, sign up for Degrade and just start beating it up. Tell us the ways that you learn and where we're missing in regard to tracking it. My email is I'm kind of addicted to email, so I'll respond as fast as I can and appreciate all the feedback. Degrade is for learners. We want to know how you learn so that we can track it so you can represent it.
Great, thank you, Kat. I don't know if this happened for anyone else, but I got like a little freeze right at the moment where you said your email. So we'll just ask you to engage maybe on Twitter or put any contact information you'd like directly on the event page and also the YouTube page that will be created automatically after this. So we'll make sure everybody has those links. All right, Christina, you guys in Vienna, would love to hear your closing thoughts and what we can do to help you.
Thank you. We would like to thank you, first of all, Impact on Air, to giving us the opportunity to share our product and our concept. And also very important for us is to thank all Hub Network and members, because I don't know if you know, but here the Social Impact Award in Vienna is a special Hub initiative. It was the first initiative that believed in us, in our project, and that's why we're here and we're doing all the best we would like to do. And another thing is that Slavi would like to share with you is what we are striving to.
So thank you again from my side. Thank you, Ruby, Jack, Pat, Scott, and Candice. Thank you all, guys. And I just wanted to mention that, for example, Ruby in Seattle, I'm sure that she know a lot of people that can help us, like hardware engineers, like some other software developers. And pretty soon we're ready to be in front of investors because we're developing our prototyping phase. And as we do it, we'll definitely contact you and see what we can arrange.
Fantastic. And I'm excited. Ruby is actually based here in Seattle with us. She's part of the Venture Scale team, so everyone who's participated in this call will get a chance to hook up with Venture Scale and learn more about how they can help social enterprises take advantage of potential for scale. So I want to just say thank you on behalf of Google, Venture Scale, and Impact Hub Seattle, which are hosting this series, to all of you for participating. Just first of all, it's really incredibly inspiring to be part of this community and to learn about the really valuable work you're doing to make the world more fair, more just, and more opportunity rich for everyone. And also to say thank you to our viewers and those of you who've been following this. I know we had a crazy session this time, but I hope you agree with me that it was totally worth it. There's so much happening across the Impact Hub network and so many opportunities for us to help each other. So we hope you'll stay in touch with us on Twitter at Impact on Air, on the web at impactonair.com, and of course tune in 2 weeks from now for our final session on innovations and health. With that, I'll let everyone move on with their day, but thank you again so much for joining us, and we hope to see you again soon.
Thank you, Candice and Jack.